In this video I'm taking apart a Honda 50 C100, more often known as the Honda C100, which is a pushrod engine, and I just received it there recently, and it's a C100E. So I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to start taking it apart, and I said I might as well do a video on it as well as I was doing it. So the first part I'm going to take off here now is the sprocket, and amazingly the sprocket looks like it's a brand new sprocket. It's a bit rusty looking and a bit greasy and oily, but all the teeth on it look very, very good. So I'm going to take that off now. It's a 10mm socket to get that off. So to get it off, this has to be turned so that it's hard to see it, but there's a little spline on it there that has to line up to get it off, and then the sprocket just comes off. I have to use a bit of force on it. So that's them off there now. I'm just going to put them into a bag and keep them together. The next thing I'm going to do there now is I'm going to take off this flywheel, and I think that's a 14mm nut, so I must get my big ratchet to get that off. This engine actually has good compression. But it needs to be taken apart because I just need to check everything inside it anyway. And it's actually an 18mm nut, not a 14. There's also a washer in there that I must take out, and I must put on the pullers to get it to come off next to break the woodruff key. So to get that off there now, I'm going to put a spanner onto it. Just hold that there, and I think this is a 17. Yeah, so I'll hold that one there now, and then I'll turn this one and it'll break the hold on the woodruff key and it'll wind up. Right, that's the flywheel off. The next thing I'm going to take off now is the electrical unit. There are two screws, one there, one there. So to do that, I'm probably going to have to get the shock ratchety thing to get them off. Couldn't think of the name of it. The impact driver. So, see which is the best screw to put on it. That one, I think. So I'll just hit that with the back of a hammer or the belt of a hammer there now to get it to loosen. Sometimes it goes good and sometimes it goes bad. Look at the state of the screw. It's amazing how these screws sometimes will just not come out of the goddamn thing. Anyway, they're out. Right, I must prise the plate out now. I don't think there's any other screws holding it. Right, the electrical unit is coming out there now. I must take off this rubber first. Take off the wire off of what's called the dead man switch, and it actually goes through a small little rubber there as well. So that's it, finally off. Okay, I'm going to take off this pipe next. It's some sort of an oil pipe. I don't really know the function of it, but I'm going to take it off there now in case I damage it. Now that's the top bolt off it, and there's a hole on it there. So I'm going to keep them all together in a bag. I think the pipe will go into that bag sideways. And I can see that this bolt also has a hole in it. There. So keep them all together. Alright. I'm just taking off this screw here which holds a little plate that keeps the dead man switch from coming out. And this fella here is just a little plastic cover which covers a screw inside there, a bolt, sorry. Right, so I'll put them together. The dead man switch looks good, so I'm going to leave it where it is until I see what it's like inside. I'm just taking out the oil dip switch. I'm taking off the oil drain nut off the bottom. Most of the oil came out of it when it was in transit, so there's probably not a lot of oil left in it, and it requires a 17mm spanner. So I'll just tip it up over the oil thing there now. Now I'm going to take off the all this top section here, if it'll come off first before I take off the casings. Right, the top two appear to be just two bolts, like so. The bottom ones appear to be, I don't know what all this stuff is, but it seems to be on both of them. There may be another nut inside that there. Come off of that damn thing, will ya? Yeah, there's two other bolts there now, so I'll open those and see what happens. They're after coming loose there now, and the whole bolt is coming out. So they're the bottom ones, they're the top ones. Okay, well, I'll take off all these things in case there are other things that hold things in place in there. Right, the whole thing came off there when I went to open these. All they are is just to check the valves and to set the valve timings. So the whole thing came off. Right, now that's handy. And I can put it all into the one thing. It probably won't fit in that bag, so I'll have to get a bigger bag. Right, it looks as if the next section can come off now. It has another 4 bolts. I think these rods, these are the push rods, can come out. One is longer than the other. That's one. And that's the other. So this is the, as I'm looking at it here, right hand and left hand. Right, I probably have to take these off, I'm not sure, but I probably do. I'll take off the nuts and see what happens. Now I just gave it a bit of a tap of a hammer and it, the whole thing come off. Oh, there's a lot of gunge inside there. Now there are 3 seals there. One with a metal insert, just an ordinary one, and another ordinary rubbery type one there. Okay. So this section just pulls off very easily as well. Just pull it off of the piston there now. Now it's after coming off the piston there. And it all looks very good inside there. We won't have to get a new barrel. Piston is very gungy, alright, but piston itself looks okay. So we hopefully should be able to salvage it. Right, what's next? I think I'll take off this clutch cover side first. And I just noticed a bad crack on the clutch casing, so that will either have to be repaired or replaced, probably replaced. I didn't see that actually when it came, but anyway, it's no problem. So luckily enough I had to use the heavy duty driver to get the bolts loose, but they all came off and the heads haven't got damaged, so that's another bonus. So that they're all the clutch cover casing bolts. I'll put them now on a separate bag as well. Right, that's the clutch cover after coming off, and I had a fair idea that the kickstarter, the top was after being cut off of it. So that's why I'm taking it apart, because I want to order the parts and I wanted to see exactly what the spindle was like before I order it. So I'll keep going now and I'll take everything apart anyway. So there's a washer here. And then this lifts up off of the spline, and the spline on that is good. This should lift off with the bearing as well and the spring. So I'll keep all them together in one place. This little cup that sits in there, I must undo that nut now to get the clutch off. So now the whole clutch mechanism can lift off. And I'll take that apart separately. There's a little piece here as well that goes on there. Okay, I must take off circlip there now to get this wheel off. I think this piece comes off, it just sits there. Yeah, that just sits there. And to get that off, I have to take that nut off. Let's take this off next, and then the kickstarter should be able to come out. So to release it, I've just undone the circlip. So the circlip comes off. There's a washer. And I think what I have to do now is to prise the spring up. Right, I've just prised up the spring there. Just looking at it to make sure it goes in the right way the next time. So it goes like that, and you have to prise that over that there. That probably won't come off now until I take this casing apart. So the next thing to do is to take off this part of the gear change and this piece here, and then this probably should come out. I can undo that bolt. This may pull up, I'm not sure. Okay, this and this next. Right, I've just undid that screw, and there's a little plate, and then there are five little pins. So I must take out those little pins now. One. Right. The first one is a small one. The other four I think are the same size. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they are. No, I was wrong. These two here at this side are short. I won't be able to get that one off now until I take this off. Right, there are the 5 little pins. 2 small and 3 big. The 2 small ones go in there, and the 3 big ones go in there. So I've just undone the nut on this here. And there's a spring underneath that there, which is after snapping loose. That's it there. So keep all those together. Right. In a Honda C50 now, this would actually come out. You could take this out, but I'm not sure in a Honda C100 if it will come out. I'll undo this bolt here and take that off. Right, so that's the nut after coming loose. There's a washer on it. And the wheel just comes up like so. That's the crankshaft basically that opens and closes the valves. Okay, let's see if this can come up. It probably has to come up before I can take, but it might be all the one. Let's see if I can get this to come out. Nothing seems to be coming off, so what I'll do is I'm going to undo all these bolts on this side here and see if I can get that casing off. Now, there are all the bolts. I managed to get them all off, which when you're taking an engine apart like this is an absolute big bonus. So now I must try and get that casing off and see what the crack is with everything else on it at the other side. Now I've managed to get the gear change through there, and thanks be to God all the splines are perfect on it. Some of these parts are quite expensive. This one in particular, I think it can run up to €135 to get that replaced. So the casing is coming apart there now pretty easily, so I'm just going to turn it over. I don't want everything falling out so that I don't know where it goes. Now, this casing is after coming apart. And I've managed to keep all the gears in place. Washer there now, I have to watch all those things. So that's the conrod. Looks to be in good condition, but I'll check it further now when I take it out. And I'll keep all the gears completely intact. There's nothing worse than they falling all over the place and not being able to put them back together again. So I'll take out the kickstarter just watch what I'm doing. Right. Okay, so there's a little lug there that goes into that little hole there. Okay. So I think that's probably the only part I need for the Honda C100 engine is this piece here. All the way to the bottom, so I just have to take it apart to see if I can just get the spline itself on its own. I think the spline is about €37 or something like that. Okay. Right, I've just checked the up and down play on that, and there is no play on it, so that's another fantastic bonus. Put that in there, and now I must take all these out together into one go, and I need two hands to do that. Took out one of the gear section and kept it all intact, and the other section won't come out until this bolt here is unscrewed. So I've unscrewed that there now. Now there's a washer there, so I'm just filling it so that I can remember to put it back there. It's probably off the gear change, but I'll have to have a look at a spare parts list and see if I can figure out which one it's off of.